Hi, I'm Simon Smellmont. In this video, I'll show you the 2-year journey I took to find an identity for my passion project and what's in store for the game in the future. This video covers the struggles, the idiocy, and the small sparks of hope along the way. Without further ado, let's go back to the very first idea for the game. On Valentine's Day 2023, I opened up a project on GameMaker Studio 2 called Renegades of the Media. The idea for the game was simple. Probably a little too simple, but we'll get to that. Basically, the game was Wario Land 3, but with me and my friends as different characters. The main character would be an avocado piloting a spacesuit, and it was the first one to be implemented. The controls were pretty mediocre. Nothing really had weight to it, and all of the moves were ripped straight from Wario Land 3. Yeah, this idea sucked. I mean, Wario Land 3 is a great game and all, but it already exists. To add on to that, the gameplay was pretty boring when I playtested it, and there wasn't enough juice to make the game feel good to play in any form. So what was my solution? Make it a copy of Wario Land 4. So this is when I fell victim to one of the classic blunders. I had no real ideas, so I just copied stuff I liked. When I say copied, I literally mean I traced Wario's walking sprite from Wario Land 4 and based the main character art on that. This is in reference to the fact that I suck at pixel art. Anyways, this is when I decided I should put together a demo. I made 3 demos, all of which sucked. Demo 0 had a bunch of missing mechanics, Demo 1 added a few but was still lacking, and Demo 2 was just crappy Pizza Tower. It was here that I decided I needed to pivot. I started rapidly going through ideas around the end of 2023 and beginning of 2024. After making crappy Pizza Tower, I started thinking of unique twists for my game. The main one that jumped out at me was making a Metroidvania. I'm a big fan of Hollow Knight and Super Metroid, so this made sense to me. My first idea was a Pizza Tower Metroidvania, which I found out didn't really work with the exploration aspect. Then I had the idea for a Wario Land 3 Metroidvania. This seemed like a pretty solid idea, so I made a short demo about it. I called it the Onion Demo. I think it had to do with like guacamole or something. It was pretty decent in my opinion, and it was definitely a lot better than the previous demos. However, there seemed to be something missing. The combat was just not interesting. After taking a year-long break, I figured out a solution. Finally, we've reached the current iteration of Renegades of the Media. This version, unlike the others, is made in Godot, which I have personally enjoyed a lot more than GameMaker. The direction for the game is now a Metroidvania that takes mechanics from Terraria. The main mechanics the games share are the class system, the accessory system, and the combat. Like Terraria, my game includes 4 classes, but not all of them are completely the same. Melee and ranged are basically untouched, but the mage class, which is referred to as the spell class in my game, is a bit different. Instead of using different magical items that all do different things, you instead bind spells to a wand. For example, this wand has the spell Firebolt bound to its first slot. The 4th and final class is completely different from Terraria. This is the Key class. Its mechanics are inspired by the Dragon Ball franchise and its corresponding Terraria mod. Basically, you charge up your Key and you can use different attacks that use Key as fuel. I decided to use Key instead of Summoner because I feel that summoning little guys to do all your attacks is kind of weird in a Metroidvania setting. I might add the Summoner class later down the line, but for now, these 4 classes are what I'm sticking with. The next system to talk about are the accessories, known in my game as add-ons. Unlike Terraria's accessories, add-ons can only go in a specific slot. For example, gloves go in the glove slot and hats go in the head slot. I feel like this system can allow for a more strategic balancing of items. Finally, the last system to talk about is the general combat of the game. As stated earlier, there are 4 classes. Each class has its own weapons, but you don't always have to choose the weapon for your class, just like in Terraria. The weapons themselves vary wildly in what they do, but they follow the sort of weapon archetypes that Terraria has. Melee weapons usually just swing in an arc, and the rest of the weapons are mostly projectiles. Once I implement more weapons, the variety will definitely increase. So that's the basic rundown of my game and how I got here. The progress I've been making is pretty great. The journey I've had to make to get to this point took a while, but I think I have a game that I really want to make. Here are some other various aspects of Renegades of the Media. To start off, I recently did a complete visual overhaul of the game, and the before and after is crazy. To think the art started as this makes me realize how long it really took me to get out of the concept phase. Another thing I want to show off is this cool grappling hook I made by following a tutorial and then reworking a bunch of code. You can find the tutorial I used in the description. Finally, I'd like to ask for some feedback. If you have a weapon idea or think of something that should be implemented or changed, make sure to let me know using the Discord link in the description. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you take anything from this video, it should be that a good idea is the main thing to have before starting a project. I didn't really have one, so I had to learn the hard way. If you follow this advice, you should hopefully be able to get an idea you like in less than 2 years. I know my posting habits are erratic, but I should have more devlogs in the future. My goal with the game is to have a demo out by the time I head to college, which is mid-August. The demo should come with a devlog, so keep an eye out for that. Anyways, make sure to join the Discord server if you're interested, and have a good one.